What up?
What's up? Welcome to the show.
First one of 2018.
Second one of
Yeah,
2018.
that's right. We did the best of 2017 in 2018. But now we're going to talk about 2008. Well, we're going to talk more about 2017 stuff. Sorry.
Well, here's what we're going to talk about today. And it's actually the title of the video. The Resurrection of the Cleveland Browns.
A team near and dear to our hearts and our souls and our minds. This includes me and Frank.
Yeah.
And
We've been diehard fans since birth, really.
since
And
I came out the womb.
since we came out the
Actually,
womb.
when I came out the womb, the team had just left.
That's true.
It just left.
But we were there for the original resurrection of the Cleveland Browns.
It's true. You were, how old were you at the time?
Though it still feels like we're only half alive.
I was 4 years old. I remember
I was 4 years old.
I remember the excitement when they came back because I got like autographs from like the players and from some players and they had like banners and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
Fun moments.
Fun times.
Fun memories.
We didn't know what was to come.
Can't say the same thing about this team this year.
Yeah. Not the funnest.
Should we just talk about
but
the elephant in the room?
But to be honest, Belushi, as he said, he was born and raised in the city of Cleveland, and we're diehard loyal fans, and we're not like any diehard Browns fan. We have hope. We always have hope
Of course.
for the future, hope for what is to come,
It's always.
and that usually comes in the form of the NFL draft. Coming up here in April.
Hopefully.
We have a lot of hope in this year's draft. And for the first time in my memory, we have 2 top 5 picks. So we have a real chance.
Right.
We have a real chance to make an impact with this year's draft.
Potentially.
So obviously right now we're coming off of an 0-16 season.
Yeah, let's get that out the way. We went 0-16, the second team
in NFL
history to go 0-16.
Yeah.
Goose egg in 16.
It was a terrible season, but there was a level of learning that I think we had with our young team. And here is my theory for how the Cleveland Browns is going to turn around their organization. And I think they're working on it.
Well, for one, should we address what happened? I know we addressed they went 0-16, but should we touch on that a little bit more?
Like just how many losses they had. I mean,
there were 16. There were 16 of them.
There were 16 of them. There's not much more to say than that. They tried in every single game.
They did.
They put effort in. It's not like they gave up on their season. They just couldn't win a competitive game in the NFL. They couldn't win one, and they went to overtime a couple times. It was a very difficult season. It was a struggle. But I think what they're doing right, which has been exemplified this season, is they are actually trying to construct a long-term team.
Are they?
Now,
Damien, don't laugh.
Let me explain.
Look at Damien. See, Damien's already laughing. See, that's what people do. Laughing about our team.
It's the Browns, right?
Yes. But
yes,
anyway, the way that we're constructing a team right now is we built a core of young players. Whether it's Duke Johnson, Corey Coleman. Now he's not necessarily the best, and I'm not saying they're all the best. Joe Schobert,
Pro Bowler too.
Yeah.
Poor Corey
Coleman.
He has to live with the fact that, as you see Joe at the occasional cameo, first cameo of the year for Joey.
That's right, folks.
But yeah, poor Corey Coleman. He has to live with the fact that he dropped the pass that solidified the 0-16 season.
He sure did.
Poor Corey. He could end up being a good player. I hope he does, but poor him. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, that was a really sad play to watch because we really had a chance in that 16th game. We were driving the ball with less than 2 minutes to take the lead, and Deshaun Kaiser throws one of his better passes of the season.
That was a good pass.
Straight to Corey Coleman's hands.
Not to mention getting
goes straight through.
Not to mention getting out of pressure.
Yeah, he ran away from a lot of pressure. And here's what I will say about Kaiser. Look, everybody is going to rip and shred him apart.
Sure.
The guy did put his heart and soul into this team. And and you could say, well, that wasn't enough, obviously, because they're 0-16. But the thing is I think he could develop into a great backup quarterback for this team. Because, and listen, hear me out, I think he does have good leadership skills. I think he is a loyal player. He actually wanted to be a Cleveland Brown. He's a guy.
Taking shots already. We haven't even talked about the draft yet. Jeez.
I'm not taking shots.
Taking shots.
What do you mean I'm taking shots?
We see you, Josh Rosen. We'll talk about you later, though.
I don't want Josh Rosen.
We'll talk about it.
But we'll get to that. But I think he could be just a key piece on the bench of our team for a longer period of time as a consistent backup. I don't think he's the answer at quarterback, but I wouldn't mind keeping him on the roster long term as somebody who's going to be a leader, as somebody who seems to be an adult, who's going to build that kind of camaraderie around the team that we really need. And I do think he brought that level to this team this year, even though obviously I don't think he's the greatest football player. I do think he's decent enough to be a decent backup at some point.
How about this? Do you think by the end of next year he'll be on the roster?
I want him to, and I actually do think so.
Okay.
I think even Dorsey has expressed some belief in him, which that to me is one of the biggest point I think of this offseason was hiring John Dorsey, the guy we really wanted at GM.
Yes.
That was a big part of this plan right now, because we realized.
Sashi Brown.
Yeah, Sashi Brown was not the best evaluator of talent.
He's an analytics man. He was a lawyer.
He was an analytics man, but it just didn't seem like he made all the right decisions when it came to personnel. At the quarterback position, he really didn't fill that role to the best of his ability last year. He did stockpile some draft picks, but based on what we've seen him do in the draft, we don't know if he would have really added much to those.
And what makes matters worse,
the team with those
makes matter worse is that when he did trade those picks, they gave up the pick to Philadelphia to get. And that's how they got
Carson Wentz. Yeah, we have given up some real opportunities to get to where we are.
To get Deshaun Watson.
That's true.
And the insane thing about it is, it'd be one thing if you're like giving up picks to a team that's getting a position that they need and you don't need. Like if you're like the New England Patriots, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But when you're the Cleveland Browns that also needs a quarterback, it's weird that you would trade your 2 top picks in back-to-back years to teams that also.
Well, they weren't our top picks. Our number 1 overall pick was Myles Garrett.
Right. But still, though. So you see what I mean? Like, still your first round
I get what you're saying. We do trade down an unusual amount.
It's just a head scratcher, you know?
It is.
Because it's like you need a quarterback, but yet you give your pick to the 2 other teams who also need quarterback.
That's true.
It just doesn't make sense. That's the type of stuff that
it doesn't. But
that's obviously going to be on Sashi's resume.
That's true.
That's the stuff that's going to define him. And plus this season, they went 0-16.
There's a level of hesitancy though that comes for the Browns just because we've drafted so many quarterbacks in the first round, and I will say I think we took a lot of risks, and there were some surefire guys that we've missed on, but I think there's some hesitancy because we've seen how many times we've blown a quarterback in the first round as a bust.
Yeah.
How many times we busted on those picks. So here's what I will say about the organization currently. I think we got a new guy who added something to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
He really put them in a positive direction.
4 years, they made the playoffs, yes.
Yeah.
He's the one that responsible. He drafted Kelsey, drafted Hunt, drafted Peters.
Good. He's done good in the draft. He did a good job recruiting Alex Smith to Kansas City.
Not to mention, if you want to go even further, first he used to be a player, but really irrelevant. But he really started off 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago, as a scout
for the Packers.
For the Packers, yes. He started in the 90s, and he was with their team. So that's when obviously they became good. Obviously they didn't draft
when Favre was their quarterback.
But Favre got traded.
Yeah, he got traded from Atlanta.
But the team they built there, he had a big hand, of course, scouting. He in '99 went for a cup of coffee with Seattle, but then came back to. But no, he did. He came back.
No.
He came back to Green Bay, and then he was a scout again for another 10 years. So he was there in the room when they drafted Rodgers and Matthews, and he's the guy that, especially in comparison to Sashi, the guy who an analytics
is really
man,
established.
A stats guy. This is a guy that literally, like, when you're a scout, you're literally going out to different places, and you're just watching football. You're just watching college kids, and you're evaluating their talent, and you're sending that back to the organization, to the general manager. So he's done. So he spent his time. You know, he spent his time. He's paid his dues. And again, the results you look at again, being there for the 2 times Green Bay's won championships, being in the room for that, and then when he finally got his general manager spot, because Kansas City was the first time he became a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
4 years they've made the playoffs. All 4 years he has had a hand in all their drafts, and most of the best players at Kansas City are people they've drafted. Hunt, leading rusher of the year, a 3rd round pick. Kelsey, late round pick. Peters, who's become a shutdown corner.
And now they have Patrick Mahomes to kind of follow up on Alex Smith.
So this is the one thing I like, because obviously they got, not only did they get Sashi, but they also got the dude from Moneyball. I always forget his name. Paul something. I always forget his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, just very odd choices, you know. That yes, at the time it was risky, but at the same time it's like, you need football people,
football minds to be in there, to be in the organization.
And on top of that, you need people who not saying that, I don't mean to rip Sashi, even though he did a horrible job. But
you do mean to rip.
But at the same time, it's like, you got to think of, he was put in a job that he was not qualified for and didn't know what to do.
That's true.
So it is comforting that
we now have a guy who's really qualified for the position.
But since we're talking about the organization, what do you think about Hugh Jackson still being back?
That's a great question.
And the fact that, it's reported by Terry Pluto, who's one of my favorite writers for the Plain Dealer in Cleveland, wrote that when Dorsey took the job, our owner,
Jimmy Haslam,
obviously, he told Dorsey that he was going to accept the job with the understanding that Hugh Jackson was going to continue to be the coach of the team. This is the end of November, because remember, Dorsey.
So you're saying Dorsey wanted Hugh Jackson?
Dorsey didn't. No. Dorsey was told when he took the job that no matter what, he is to keep Hugh Jackson, almost as
for next season, just for next season.
Well, just to keep him, just a matter to say, like, it's understood that when you get this job, he's going to be our coach. Almost as if he's saying, this is the way it is. This is how it's going to be.
And here's to me why I think keeping Hugh Jackson is a good decision.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people are going to say, you're stupid. He went 0-16. He's the second coach to ever do that. Why wouldn't you just fire him and find a new guy? Well, let's look at the Browns organization and how they've done with coaches in the past. Yeah. We had Rod Chudzinski for a single season. Sure. We had Patine, Shermer, Mangini, Cromell for no more than 3 years each. Most of them 2 years.
The last 3 years.
No more than 3 years.
Right.
Cromell. No.
Romeo Cornell.
Sorry, last 3 years.
It's easy to get Cornell and Crowell.
Yeah,
because they're the same.
But with the coaching situation, the Cleveland Browns coaching job is not a very desirable position, because to really change a franchise, you need long-term stability,
sure,
and we have not offered that to any of our coaches. We need to give our coaches a chance to really set into place a system, an offense, a defense, to really sell that to our team and to really build a franchise. You don't, and some do, every once in a while they do, but most organizations don't change overnight. You can get like the best player ever in like basketball and change overnight. But in football, it's a team sport. It's very much a team sport.
Look at the team that plays not only 5 minutes away from the stadium, from Energy Solution Stadium, LeBron James.
Yeah, look at LeBron James. Right. He really changed the franchise. But even the first time he was there, he was probably one of the best players in the world, but he couldn't win a ring. And when he came back, we were able to build more around him.
Fair enough.
To build more players, and that's how we won a championship.
Fair enough. But
and for the Browns organization, we need to build a team. It's not a single player. We need to build a core unit that is going to become the Browns. They're going to be the Browns players. They're going to be known as Browns, not just Joe Thomas, but a number of players.
So hear me out on this. The thing is, I get what you're saying. That's fine. I understand, like, consistency and having a coach be here, and I understand that. At the same time, you can't deny 1-31 in your first 2 seasons. That's undeniable. You can't.
And I'm not saying Hugh Jackson is the answer. But
and what I'm saying is he's also made numerous weird decisions. Weird time management. All I'm saying is that on his record, he has 1 win in 15 games, and 1 in 15 the first year, and the next year he actually didn't win a single game.
And there's an argument to be made, 2 arguments to be made.
Like
one, Belushi, let me please tell you these 2 things, because I think they're important to whatever you're going to say next. One, for Hugh Jackson, I don't think necessarily he's the answer at head coach. But what I will say is the statement that we're keeping him for a 3rd season is that to the coaches that will come here in the future, we will give you a chance to really turn around this organization, which we haven't given a chance to the other coaches in the past. And that is a big part in the desirability of this job. Pat Shurmur was fired years ago and did not get a head coaching job till probably next season from leaving the Cleveland Browns. Why? Because he didn't look super great as the Cleveland Browns head coach, but no one has, because they haven't gotten to set a system in place, and they haven't really had a chance. Chudzinski only got a season, and that was terrible for our reputation as a coaching destination.
To be fair, though, Chudzinski won
4 games. But that's...
Shurmur won how many games? 4?
He won more than that.
How many games has Hugh won in 2 years?
1. And I'm not saying that Hugh is the answer. And none of those guys necessarily were the answer. But if we're going to find the answer, we need a good coach. If we're going to get a good coach, we need to make the statement that we're going to give him a chance
but
turn around this
my question would be this. If Hugh is not the answer, then why would you keep him if you're saying in the same breath
because we're not going to get the answer this offseason. Because if we fire Hugh, we as 1-31 the last 2 seasons,
sure,
having been a destination where like the last 7 coaches have only lasted 2 years, who's going to want to come here?
Maybe.
If we're not really even giving them a chance when it comes to talent and time.
But to be fair, if you're admitting that he's not the answer while you're building, because right now we are rebuilding, right? Wouldn't it make sense to fire him now and then bring another coach and start from there rather than fire him after this year? Because imagine the players.
Here's the thing.
Think of the players though. Think from this standpoint. The players would have to learn a different system, right? We have to learn a different system, a different type of coaching. If you're going to do that now, especially if you do not believe that this coach is the keep in mind.
I'm not saying he is not the answer. I'm just saying I'm not sure that he is the answer. I will say I do think they're giving Hugh Jackson a chance.
No.
And I do think they really believe in him.
But does someone deserve a chance when they went 0-16?
Here's the thing.
Rod Malinelli, when he was the coach of the Lions, he went 0-16. He got fired. They brought in Jim Shorts. 2 years later, they're in the playoffs.
It's a different situation. And
how is it different?
It's different because the Lions did not have that backtrack. The as long of a backtrack of being such a terrible team. Now
That's not true.
They did have a pretty long backtrack.
True.
They did have a pretty listen, Belushi. They did have a pretty long backtrack.
And they drafted their quarterback too. Harrington, Rod Williams. They had their
they had made mistakes.
They had their own bust too.
But the Detroit Lions were not the franchise that the Cleveland Browns are. And they hadn't fired a coach after a season who went 4 wins, which I'm not saying is great. But again, that's 1 season. That was 3 coaches ago. These guys that have left the Browns, Patine and Shurmur, are getting real looks right now as real coaches who we didn't give a real chance.
Patton's defensive coordinator now.
He is, but people are really believing in those guys.
Games though. I mean, I feel like we're not understanding the gravity of what happened. They went 0-16.
Here's the thing.
I would hear you if
we're not in control of what happened in the past right now. We're in control of the right now.
But
and here's the other thing.
Okay, but hear me out then. If you're gonna keep Hugh Jackson, why would you not keep Sashi Brown?
Because I think because here's the thing. If we're gonna get rid of Hugh Jackson, we need to get our guy.
Sure.
Okay? And if we're gonna get our guy, we need to know who that guy is.
Yes.
And we need to know the caliber of coach that he is.
Or any coach, yeah.
When we got rid of Sashi Brown, we knew who our guy was. It was John Dorsey, Okay. We were in talks with them. That's why we fired Sashi Brown before the season was over.
But keep in mind, too, Dorsey.
So we could get our guy.
Remember, too, Dorsey, whenever he was asked, do you want to keep Hugh Jackson, he skated around the question because John Dorsey doesn't want Hugh Jackson there. But
here's the thing. This gives them a season, a year, that also states that they're going to give a coach a chance to think about who they really want.
I suppose, but he went on 16.
No, I get you, but what I'm saying is this gives them a season because we don't want to make the wrong coaching hire again. And at this point, we're going to make the wrong coaching hire. If we would because we wouldn't have any good opportunity.
Would they be better? Are you saying
who is going to come to the Cleveland Browns? All the desirable head coaches are not going to go to the Cleveland Browns.
We don't need a desirable coach.
We need a good coach. We need a great coach if we're going to change that franchise around. And if we're going to get rid of Hugh Jackson, we need to find a great coach. And we don't know who that is right now. So give it another season. Think about it.
Maybe.
Yeah, but if we're going to get rid of our current guy, we need to get better. We don't need another Hugh Jackson to come in. We need to get better. We can keep Hugh Jackson, or we can hire another guy and last another 2 years in this situation. Or we could wait and know who our guy is, know who we want, who we really believe in, like we did with Dorsey, and invest in that guy. And we really did believe in Hugh Jackson at one point, and we're giving him a real shot. So we're saying
he had 2 seasons. He could have got fired after going 1-15, and then he followed up by going 0-16.
But that would have been terrible. That would have said you're not going to get a real chance. And who wants to be the Cleveland Browns head coach?
Real quick, who does?
Real quick,
we go along. We haven't talked about the draft yet. We'll just finish with this. Keep it short.
All right.
If he goes 0, we start this season and they go 0-6. Do you fire him?
No, you wait till the end of the season.
You wait till the end of the
unless you know who you're gonna hire.
So if
you know who you're gonna hire, you stay with him through the next.
So if they go 1-37,
you stick with them.
Till
you have your next guy.
Okay.
Till you know who that is. Till you have him pegged.
Fair enough. We will agree to disagree on that.
I mean, and that's fine.
But
when it comes to the draft,
let's talk about the draft.
All right, now,
make it real quick. We have the first pick.
What are your opinions? First, fourth pick, and free agency. What should we do?
Well, okay. Before let's talk about free agency. We'll start with that. Let's just make it real quick.
I think if we have a legitimate chance at Kirk Cousins in free agency, we should go after him.
How about this? Let's make it quick. We want to go long, but
you give me a minute to
you have 3 positions that you would want to address. You get 3 positions to pick.
Give me 4.
Give me 4 in free agency. What would the 4 positions would you address?
I'm going to do free agency and draft all in 4 positions.
Well,
this is what I want.
Well, what would you get in free agency first, and then how that would affect your draft?
Okay, so
what would you do?
I think ideally we get Kirk Cousins in free agency.
Okay.
It sounds like he may give us a legitimate chance. We have the money to really pay him. He's from kind of the Clevelandish area. It was Michigan.
It's gonna
be
a dog fight to get Kirk Cousins.
It's gonna be a dog fight. But I think ideally we can get that guy.
Maybe.
See, but the homegrown effect, I think Kirk Cousins might want to come to Northeast Ohio.
So
at quarterback, maybe Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Ideally. If not, obviously I think we draft a quarterback. Secondly, I think we get Terrell Pryor back. We can get him for a reasonable price. I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to play pretty good for us.
I hope he's healthy.
His best season under Jackson. His best times have been under Jackson. We're sticking with him.
He went to a better offense.
Sucks.
But he'll come. But hopefully, he'll be back on a reasonable price because no one's going to offer him much. He tried to bet on himself and it didn't work out.
No. So thirdly.
Okay, so you get Pryor back.
I think we might lose Crowell to San Francisco for him to go play with his old offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. So if we do that,
they got a running back in Brenda they like a lot.
You could be right, but I think having Saquon Barkley, another weapon on offense, could be good to draft.
Barkley,
And then fourthly, I think we draft a high defensive player, preferably a linebacker. I hear or a safety. I hear Minka Fitzpatrick as a name that we could draft, or another linebacker. Those are my 2 options for
if you're Fitzpatrick, you have to consider Fitzpatrick or Barkley because you only got.
No, we get the 1st and the 4th pick.
Oh, you're saying you want Barkley number 1. Right?
I want Barkley either one. You can switch the order.
So that's different. Okay. So this is what I would do.
Yeah, what would you do?
I mean, if Cousins is available, you'd entertain it, I suppose. But I'm under the impression that he's just saying that to. Okay, Cousins is going to be looked at, and also too, we haven't even talked about the fact that obviously we're not previewing any championship games, but let's just say Jacksonville sucks tomorrow, and Blake Bortles craps the bed. You got Jacksonville's going to look at him. Jets are definitely going to look at him. There's other teams in the league.
There's a lot of teams that are going to look at him.
Buffalo certainly just made the playoffs.
But what do you want to do? If you don't think we're going to get Cousins, what do you
I would get a backup quarterback. I mean, Fitzpatrick's out there.
A back? You mean you want
the reason why
a veteran guy?
Well, the reason why I said that is because the one weird thing about this team is that this is the only team in history that have 3 quarterbacks on their roster, and none of them have a win. Hogan, Kessler, and Kaiser, all guys who've come out within 3 years. They're either rookie, second year, third year, and yet not one of them have won a game. So they haven't. That's another thing that unfortunately hurt Kaiser. There was no veteran presence. Even when Trubisky's in Chicago, he has Mark Sanchez. I know Mark Sanchez didn't pan out well.
But he played in the AFC Championship.
But he's a veteran, and I'm sure
he's got some lessons that he's learned.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like every quarterback needs that, especially if you're going to draft a quarterback. You need at least a veteran who's going to be there and help them get through those times.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to get. I would also personally get a cornerback as well
in the draft.
Free agency.
Who do you think we could get?
I mean, we have to see. But the thing is, with this team, is they're the youngest team in the league, and while the youth is good, I think the problem is that they're too young, and so you definitely. But
they're going to get older.
They will get older, but at the same time, you also need people there who've been there and
done that.
Yes, you need guys like that. Even if they're going to be a stopgap, but that's only there so the guys can get better, and eventually they're going to take their spot. Basically,
so you want some leadership on this?
Yes, absolutely. You definitely.
And Terrell Pryor could offer some of that.
Maybe
still some of that.
If he's humbled, he'll be humbled. When it comes to the draft, though, obviously they need to get a quarterback.
At some point, they don't get free agents.
I mean,
who do you like at quarterback?
There's Darnold, there's Rosen, and there's Allen. I've gone back and forth. I don't know. They need to get one though. At first I was thinking Rosen, but then I say maybe Arnold, maybe Allen though he's 6'5", but then I don't necessarily like fall in love with like size because it's a common thing. All three have pretty good inside. Darnold and Rosen 6'3", good bodies. Allen 6'5". I'm not sure. The only thing I will say is they better pick one.
If you had to choose, if you were on the clock right now.
If I was on the clock right now.
Who was your quarterback?
I would probably pick Allen.
Josh Allen. And that's what Mel Kiper and
because Rosen has a few issues with in terms of like it's kind of like some teammates don't like him. That's definitely a red flag when you hear that your own teammates.
You really do need somebody who's going to offer
and then
camaraderie.
And then with Darnold, I think of like past history of UFC quarterbacks since Palmer came out in 2013. 2003, you look at
John David
Booty, Matt Leinart. You look at Mark Sanchez. You look at Cody Kessler. You look at You look at Barkley, and UFC has not produced a really good quarterback since Palmer. Palmer turned out to be good. He could have been even better.
In the same sense, Wyoming hasn't produced many.
That's true.
Quarterbacks, but you think this is a new guy who's kind of different in the mold at Wyoming? So.
I would probably go with this Allen. And then with the 4th pick, obviously, if Barkley's there, you take him. Of course, Indianapolis could take him. But also, they have a young running back they like. But they're also in a unique position where they don't need a quarterback, obviously, because they have luck. But they definitely do need talent. So they could trade down. It depends on
who do you want? Who do you want with
ideally?
If we trade down.
Ideally, not I'm saying us trading. I'm talking about Indianapolis. I'm curious about that 3rd spot. I think that 3rd spot someone could easily swoop in, and now of course they could swoop in and get the 3rd quarterback, supposedly, obviously. But if Barkley's there, I would take Barkley.
Okay.
If Barkley's not there,
do you address a defensive issue?
You definitely need offense this year. Usually I'm a component for defense, and I've said that every year. Proponent, yes. But this year I think they definitely need offense. I wouldn't get a wide receiver. I would actually get a wide receiver free agency and go back. But yeah, if Barkley's there, I would take him. I would take Barkley.
Okay, so Barkley's preferably your choice.
Yes, if Barkley's there, I would take him.
Okay. So. And then maybe a wide receiver if he's not. And maybe trade down.
See, I don't like them trading down.
Okay.
I feel like that. I feel like if
we've done it too much.
Yeah, and if there's a really good player, take him.
Take him. Yeah, I agree.
You're
with that.
in no position to trade down.
Yeah.
You just went on 16. You know.
Yeah. We don't need to settle.
You need to add talent,
personnel wise.
Like you got to take this seriously. You went 0-16. It'd be one thing if you went like 2-14. You had a bad year. That's fine. But you did something that only one team has ever done. I mean, this is a total embarrassment. I mean, it is an embarrassment of your team.
But
that you didn't win a game.
I do think,
and you have to address that. You have to look at it from a humble standpoint and say, look, we went 0-16, and we need
to address these issues.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
the show, folks.
Yes. 31 minutes. We didn't mean to go that long.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Frankly put, that's the show, folks.
The resurrection of the Cleveland Browns. That's how it's going to go, hopefully.
That's right.
That's what we think. That's our opinions.
Hopefully.
Tell us what you think.
On our hands and knees.
Yes. Tell us what you think. If you have any opinions, put it in the comments. But thanks for watching, guys.
I just want to win.
We want wins.
We just want wins.